Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of the Same Page Book Club.
Ooh.
Yay! We are so excited to be here. If you are new to this group, I'm Fran, Rhea,
Kelly,
Kelly and Gia, and the four of us will be discussing a book of the month every month. We are very excited to start doing this. This is our first book that we read and our first episode on our own feed, our own page. So please cozy up and welcome to the Same Page Book Club.
Woohoo.
woohoo, how fun.
I'm very excited. This is the name that we're going with. I know we've had a lot of amazing suggestions, so thank you everyone for that.
Yes.
I just have to get it out there. We're not doing Chicks in the Library. I know.
No, we are
Like,
not.
it just
It's
was
not happening.
And they were like, I know people love that idea, but we're a mix. We're four
Yeah.
people. It's not just Rhea and myself. Like Chicks in the Library. It's and it just, I don't know.
Dare I say it's
something's-
too on the nose.
Yeah,
We have enough
yeah.
chicks in. We have enough chicks in.
Yeah.
Too on the nose. We want to separate this a little bit
Yeah.
from Chicks in the Office because it's a combined group. And we wanted a little fun little name for the book club.
Yeah,
you know, we
yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
just like chicks in everything.
Right.
But I'm excited about
Right.
the same.
Right, exactly. And there's something about the fact that like absolutely love a library, but I'm not reading in a library.
It's false
know?
I don't
advertising.
remember the last time I've been in a library, honestly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
College,
Libraries are
Yeah.
libraries are fantastic, and I love a good library. But
love
you know,
a
when you're
lib.
reading,
Support.
it was
I
like
love to live out.
I'm reading at home. I'm reading at home.
I'm reading on the couch.
Yeah,
Chicks on
yeah.
the couch. That's
Exactly,
what it would end
and
up being.
we're all getting on the same page. Yeah, chicks on the couch. That's our everyday.
Yeah.
But we did pick Heart the Lover as our first book by Lily King, and we've all read it. We have discussed. It was a quick read, I
Very
will
quick.
say.
Very fast read. I love a quick read, especially when it's a little bit of time jumping, which I feel like was the main thing in this whole book. After to get used to, and also once you got used to it, I really appreciated it. I appreciated the jumps.
Yeah. My first question for the group is how we all felt about Lily's writing style. Because if you hadn't read another book of hers, it was a little confusing at
Yeah.
first. And I think all of us were a little afraid to admit to each other that we were a little confused.
Yeah, I opened up this book, started reading it, thought to myself, no chapters? And I said, well, I'm not going to bring this up to the group, because what if I bring this up to the group and the group's like, Rhea, you've never read a book without chapters? And so I kept that to myself until Gia, brave enough, wrote in the chat, this writing is so confusing. And I said, thank God someone brought it
Yeah.
up. And then Fran jumped in and Kelly jumped in. They were like, we were all confused.
Yeah. I think it was, you guys described it as like the stream of consciousness.
Yeah, it's a
the way
very
it was
stream of
writing.
consciousness.
And once I kind of picked up on it, then it was very easy. I felt like the stream of consciousness made it so quick to read.
Yes.
Definitely.
But I really should have read the back of the book before I started, because I just didn't understand exactly what the plot was. So it was hard for me to understand what was happening, because she doesn't really do so much descriptive things in terms of setting and time and who's going to be involved. I was like, okay, wait, what year is this? Where are we? What's going on?
There's not a lot of setup.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. And I felt that way too, because especially part one, when they were in college, I was trying to gauge when this was all happening. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until there was more of references to calling and leaving a message.
I needed
Yes.
cell phone references
that
to get
I was
it.
like,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I'm like, okay, now I kind of understand where I'm at. They were like, or even, jumping ahead a little bit when they're living in different countries, where it's like, oh, she calls and leaves a message, and then if she doesn't get him at that time,
Yeah.
they're not talking for months. They're writing letters. So I'm like, okay, so we're in
Yes.
not the age of the
Yes.
cell phone.
Once I got to that point, I felt like, okay, now we're dealing with long distance international calls
Yes.
is a problem.
Yes.
But there are still, there's still phone access at home. But I've never read a Lily King book before. I will admit that I was reading on my Kindle and I didn't notice that there weren't chapters until about halfway through. When I wanted to, I actually really liked this. I love a stream of consciousness
Yeah.
anyway. It really helps me barrel through something. But I felt like without the chapters, it was like, you're right, there was no place to really stop, but then you could keep going at a way where you're like, I'm not really sure where she's going with this. So it kind of kept me on my toes the whole time. I also noticed that it didn't have chapters because I wanted to stop and like write something down, be like, oh, that happened in chapter whatever.
Yeah.
And then that was, until then, I didn't notice
and
there
you're
were
like,
no
this
chapters.
was at 46%. I'm
Yes.
like,
That's, yeah, because it's like, I started writing percentages. I was like, well,
Kelly, I felt the same way because you know how if you are a Kindle reader, on the bottom left, you can change like the amount, you can either have it say like the hours you have left in the book or like the minutes you have left in the chapter. So I normally have it set to minutes left in chapter. And when I was reading this book, I was like, oh, that's not an option. It's just like it was only
percentage.
it was only, well, the percentage is always on like the bottom right, but this was like, you have 3 hours left in this book. Like
Right.
it was just
Oh,
in the
interesting.
book
But
in
How
general.
do they know how much time you have left at what page? You know what I mean?
they-
Like, does
because
it
they-
change for
on your
how much
pace.
you're
Yes,
reading?
the Kindle knows your like they pick
Yeah.
up on your pace.
Yeah.
Like once you're in a good flow, the Kindle registers
Yeah.
how like
Here's
how fast you read.
Here's
I've
another
always
question.
left it
tell
on
you.
percentage.
Me
Yeah.
too. I like the
Yeah.
percentage. But here's another question for moving forward. I had written down like, it was like Kindle page 26 for something I wanted to write down. Is that equivalent to like the book page 6?
No, definitely not.
So we got to make sure we
Because if you think about it, it's like some people have
Kindle.
their Kindle font at like 50 and
True.
it's like that, you know.
Oh, so that changes pages
Yeah,
as well. Well,
yeah.
the only reason I wrote that down is because the first time that they mentioned Heart the Lover in the book.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, Kindle page
There it
26.
is. Yeah.
I said, up. But again, I don't know what size my text was, so I apologize.
Yeah, I felt like I released a breath of air when it said part 2. I was like, oh, thankfully we are getting somewhere. You know, because
But then I was 10 times more confused.
right. When it makes the first jump, you're like,
Yeah.
who the hell is Silas?
No, exactly.
True.
And
True.
I was texting
Yeah, Gia had
from
texted me.
Weeds?
Gia had texted me. She's like, "Who's she talking to?"
Yeah. Oh, when she kept saying you, I was like, me? Yeah. I kept reading the book.
I was like, oh, is this a Truman Show? What's going on?
Yeah, she's like,
I
who
like,
is
I
you?
literally looked in the mirror.
Again,
I
yeah.
should have read the back of the book because I did
Yeah.
not realize that a big time jump was coming. And I think I texted Francesca. I was like, who is she pregnant with? Yash's baby, or is she pregnant with somebody else's baby? I was just
I'm so happy
confused.
that you had the same reaction because when she started saying, and you do this,
Yeah,
and
I was
you
like,
do that,
who's
I
you?
literally was like,
Yeah.
like, why
I
is
was
she
like,
talking
okay,
to me?
you
But
is
it's you is
Yash.
Yash.
I had to
Yeah.
He
reread
went
a
to
bunch
visit,
of sentences.
Yes.
And once it got midway through that whole night, I was like, okay, she is talking to Yash. It is very obvious now because
Yeah.
they've brought up Sam.
Yes.
So she's not
Yeah.
talking to Sam.
Yeah.
And she's not talking to me. So she must be talking to Yash.
Yeah, I texted Francesca. I was like, I should have just kept reading because as you keep going on, you realize
I was going to say, I don't know if I hit this issue. How quickly was it resolved?
very quick.
Pretty
I was gonna say,
quickly.
I didn't really.
It
I
was a couple pages.
It
though.
was
I didn't
really
struggle in
that
this way.
beginning of part 2 of Yash
Well, I was just-
showing up to the house and meeting the boys.
Yes.
And they're like playing out in the tree. And she's
Yeah.
like, "You're up in the tree with the boys." And
Yeah,
you're like, "Wait,
like,
what's
who's
happening?"
up in the
Like, and then you
I-
very
I
quickly
kinda felt-
and then
yeah.
it does resolve itself quickly. But for a second, you're like, "What's happening?"
Yes.
And then you're like,
Yes.
"Okay, wait.
Yeah.
These are her boys. He's here to visit."
I thought that he was maybe the baby daddy to one of the boys.
to Jack, and I thought that maybe
Yes.
that's where, like, sadly, the sickness connection came in. I was like, does Jack have the same
Yeah,
sickness
I
that
was-
Yash
True,
has?
that's a good point.
I
That's
was
a good point.
And also the way that it ended before part 2 was she went to Candace's house, her roommate.
Carson?
Yeah, Carson.
Yeah, Carson. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of help with Nick.
She went
Yash?
to she went to Carson's in Brooklyn, and Carson was like, "Does he know?" And then she like started crying. So I was like, "Does he know what?"
Yeah.
And then it does the time jump. So I'm like, "Oh, she was pregnant with his kid, and now this is his child."
Right.
Yes.
Did not realize that
It was
she
a
gave it up for
twist.
It was.
adoption.
It was
Yes.
a bit of a
It
twist.
was a twist. I
only
hand up.
thought-
I didn't admit. I didn't pick up on the pregnancy thing for way too long.
I knew-
Like it
I
wasn't until she was
thought
talking
about
about
it.
staying with her mom, and I was like, "Oh my god, she was pregnant." I did
Oh no!
not
I knew
know.
she
It's
was.
like,
Well, she was
whoa.
pregnant when she got to New York. Remember, she shows up at our house and she's like, "Oh, honey,"
Yes.
and she's like sad when she
Yes.
sees her because she's like 6
Yes.
months pregnant, which is a bold surprise. I will say this:
Yeah.
if you are a pregnant woman and you are meeting up with your man who doesn't know you're pregnant, maybe let him know. That's a
Yeah.
crazy thing to like
Well, yeah, because-
show up with.
It was worded in the way where she was like, this mess I've made of my body. And then she
Yes.
looks at my body.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, she means this mess I've made of my body is
Is your
or
pregnancy.
I don't know
Yeah,
the
I
exact
did
wording,
not
sorry,
pick up
but
on
it was
that.
like that nature of like I've made a disaster
Made
out
a
of my
mess of like
of my body.
her life or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Did
She
you
said
say
my body
too? Yeah,
she
yeah.
said my
body
body
much-
at some
yeah.
point.
I thought it was like she was like, I opened the coat to reveal the mess I'd made, but I didn't
my life?
I didn't realize whatever.
Mess
but
I've made of my
opening
body
the
and my
coat and the
life?
mess I've made, I was like, that's a pregnant belly
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But then
Oh
I
my
didn't
God, that
think
literally went
Same.
right over my head.
I didn't think that Yash was the dad to either of those kids based on the tone that she had right
Yeah.
away, but also the time, like if her kid,
Right,
I think
the
she
kid
said
would've
right
been
away how like
older.
old they were. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the kid would have been older, I think,
Yeah.
based on, we didn't really know much at that time, but for some reason I didn't think that solely because of the
Right.
other
Because we
thing.
didn't get direct names. One of
No.
the ongoing themes in the book is definitely like the use of nicknames and sort of like who's who, and Jordan has this nickname that they give her, and we don't really know her like actual name.
Yeah, Jordan is the nickname.
and
Yeah.
her Jordan is the nickname. So my question is for you guys with like the way that this book ends, and Silas calls her Casey.
Casey,
And
yeah.
I was like, this girl's name's Casey.
Casey.
This whole
I know.
time.
I was like, that's not how I pictured.
I think when you're nicknaming someone, nicknaming them with another real name
Yeah.
is like dumb as fuck. Like I know that it was the whole thing about like Great Gatsby and
Yeah,
Daisy
yeah, yeah.
and Jordan and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I get that, but I think to have called her Jordan for 20 some odd
And
years,
his whole
it seems-
family.
his whole family, right? Like maybe tell them your real name. Like I don't know, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, and then did you pick up on the fact that she named the daughter Daisy?
Yes. The,
Which
like
when-
the in her
when
mind,
went
in her
back to the
mind, she
great-
like
she
referred
referred
to
to her as
that
Daisy.
right.
It was like
as
a Great Gatsby
Daisy.
thing.
And the date thing. How was the Daisy?
Yes.
Well, the reveal of her name at the end, I once again checked myself and thought, this is the first time they're saying her name, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't miss
Miss
this.
that.
Well,
But
I had
what I
written-
took from it was that it was like Silas sort of reminding her of the present, because I feel like
Yeah,
the
totally.
whole book is based on the past, and she's living in the past the whole time, and you just hear Jordan the whole time, but now in this moment it's like we are back to the present.
Yeah.
And that part is now
It's like that.
moving
It's
on.
almost like that chapter has closed or something.
Yeah.
But at one point I thought her name, because I could tell when they kept calling her Jordan that it was going to be like a big reveal. What's her name? At one point I thought they revealed her name to be like Molly or something. Like there was a Molly reveal. I don't know who Molly is,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she
yeah.
was revealed, and I was like, oh, that must be her name.
Yeah.
And then for a second name reveal, I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but I was like,
No,
trying to catch her name.
I was trying to
but-
figure out too if someone
Yeah.
else called her a different name, and I'm intrigued
could have
to
sworn someone's called her
read
Molly.
the other book. Now I
Yeah.
feel like, because Writers and Lovers is more of like an in between story.
Yeah.
And when I was reading sort of questions about the book or other discussion points about this book, a lot of them were like, when did you realize which character she is in Writers and Lovers? And then I was like,
Got
oh,
it.
there's a whole nother level to this that I feel like we're missing on right now. But we know that is kind of that chunk of time in between is probably a lot more to do with Silas and that connection, because it kind of just jumps right away in the time jump to her being married. But I know that it takes a sad turn, to say the least,
It does.
when you get to
Takes a very sad
towards
turn.
the end, and she's able to sort of reconnect with Yash, but in this time when he is very sick and in the hospital dying, at the same time her son Jack is dealing with an illness as well, and he's trying to go into the surgery, brain surgery for the 10th or something time.
yeah,
Like it was
he's
like
got
a lot of
a
times.
seizure thing going on.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So it definitely like took a sad turn, which
Yeah.
I didn't like. I never really thought she and Yash were gonna end up together, like reading from the beginning, but I didn't think it was gonna end in that way.
I didn't think he was gonna, obviously
die.
spoilers, right? He dies.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't think he was gonna actually die. Like I
Yeah.
thought something, or maybe it would end before he died or whatever. But I didn't. Once they introduced Silas and there were other kids that weren't his, it was like, oh no, there's not even like a star-crossed lover way that they're getting back together. Like she clearly loves Silas. Like if she like created a life with him, seems as if enough time has passed where she could have at least gotten in contact with
Yeah.
Yash. Like we're
Yeah.
now moving into the future, whatever. But I want to kind of jump back to when they're in school together. Sam is the other friend.
Yes.
What do you guys think? Like, why do you think that Sam even was interested in Jordan, Casey, whatever, to begin with, when Yash is very much more her vibe? Like, I feel like their relationship was only made like what it was whenever Yash was around. Like, they sucked on their own. And then when he was there, they were having fun. So, like, why did, I don't know. I was confused why she even bothered with Sam for as long as she did, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Well, I guess the passion was there.
Yeah.
You know, the chemistry. I think they kept talking about the sexual tension between the two of them.
Between Yash and
Sam and Jordan.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so much sexual tension until they actually had sex in the hallway and they ripped each other's clothes off.
Yeah.
True,
and
true.
then that took a
Hide
turn.
your crosses.
And then
Don't let the Lord see.
I texted Kelly and I was like, "How much do you hate this Sam character?"
He's the worst.
Yeah, it just
he was fine as later when he's taking
Later
care of his
on,
friends,
later,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
But
But
college age Sam, not my favorite.
right. And there was a lot of discussion about the religion at the beginning of the book,
Yeah.
and then at the end, it's kind of like glossed over really quick. He's like, "Oh no, you know, I kind of had like
He's
like
over
a
it.
come to moment,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, I ripped my life apart, and you know." But I think, from what I gathered, they just had like sexual tension build up, but
guess,
like
yeah.
for you know actual like
But
personality
they only had
matches.
sex like one time, right?
well,
Yeah.
maybe it was just like the what could it be?
They
You
got
know what
really
I mean?
hot and
Like the
heavy a bunch
tension.
of times, but I
Yeah.
felt like
True, yeah.
since Sam kind of was like the first person to not notice, because Yash technically it was him, but first person to like pursue her, that's what kind of kept her interest. And then like knowing Yash was around, maybe like she stayed longer because she didn't want to give up that friendship. So she's like, I'm going to stay with Sam so that like I don't want to have to
Yeah.
lose
So I
him,
can
'cause
still
she
see
If I had a
knew
nickel,
once I gave up Sam, I give up Yash.
stay with the guy to stay with the friend group. That's real as fuck.
Yeah.
True.
And you know
True.
what? And you know what? I do think that
Preach.
it came back to connect with the fact that it sort of comes out later that Yash was the one who noticed
Yes.
her first in the classroom.
Yeah.
And boys,
Well, no, he
especially
noticed her at the
college
funeral,
and Sam,
remember?
Sam
yeah.
gives that type of vibe where he like your friend is like, oh, she's hot, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get her
Yeah.
Snapchat.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Not
100%.
Snapchat because it's in the
Yeah.
80s or
The
whatever.
equivalent,
But
though.
yeah,
The
yeah.
equivalent,
Yeah, and I think like she was so enamored by the two of them too, because clearly the time that this was happening, it appears that, you know, there's not a lot of either, you know, female professors or in this business. It felt like in school she was surrounded by a lot of guys,
Yeah. Agreed.
a lot of men.
Very boys'
and it
club.
wasn't like, yes, and it wasn't like super encouraging that, hey, you can be this writer that you want to be. It was like, well, these guys are just so great
They
and
talk
incredible.
about creative writing the same way they talk about like, oh yeah, you're gonna write for a blog on the internet. Like
Yeah,
that's how,
yeah.
or like,
Yeah.
oh, creative writing, good luck making
and it
a,
was
making
and
a
it was
career.
like very sort of, you know, pretentious literature, like
I
of like,
was
oh, I'm
gonna
gonna
say,
read this.
I
That
really
it's, you know,
found Sam and Yash to be very pretentious. Like when they would
Yeah.
be having
The
these
college
like,
They were
years,
so
yeah.
profound.
oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
everything was this this big
Proust,
thing.
and it's
Yes.
like chill.
Yeah,
Like, we
yeah.
don't need you to name drop. Like,
Yeah.
name
For
drop
sure.
Hemingway.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're not impressed by the way.
I agree with that. I do wonder though, were you guys feeling the same way that you wanted Yash to cook for you the whole book? I said I would love to taste his
They
cooking.
really
You know
sounded
what I
like
mean?
he
They
made
were
great
Yes, by the
eggs.
way, yes.
It seemed
And
like
potatoes.
Right,
Yeah.
it seemed like
Gourmet meals.
he was a great cook, and I
Yeah.
just was like, dang, I kind of want to
From the
taste one of his meals.
I was like, this guy Yash is 10 times better than this
yeah.
guy
Right,
Sam.
he may be
like,
pretentious, but
yeah.
he knows how to cook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Even
Like,
when
he's
he showed
nicer, he's funny,
Yeah.
he's all of these things that Sam just isn't. Sam just seemed like he had a stick up his ass. And the part
Yeah.
that really set me
was
off
a cross.
was
Yeah.
cross up his
Yeah,
ass.
literally. Literally.
The part that really set me off was when
Holy.
she's like visiting his family and he like comes
Yeah.
down or comes up to the room. He's like, why haven't you come down?
What a fucking freak.
Making her
that
look
was
like an
so
asshole.
that was
I
such an
hated
uncomfortable
that.
story. I
I
hated
hate
that.
I
Yeah.
hate it. Like that was
Hated.
giving me like PTSD almost, and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy sucks! I don't like him at all."
So annoying. So like, and you can just tell, you can feel the moodiness.
Yes.
And it's like when you
You have to
go and
tiptoe
you're
around
meeting,
him.
yes, and when you're meeting like new parents or whatever, it's already stressful for the visitor. So don't make it more stressful. Like don't like be like me and my parents against my girlfriend. Like that's
Yeah.
how it seemed to be told.
Something I've never related to is the we're so mad at each other we're fighting and now we're gonna fuck. Like I can't like
Yeah.
I do not like
Yeah.
buy into that. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was like they didn't talk the whole way home. He totally disrespected her, and then the first time they're having sex is then.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
ripping each other's clothes off and it's all this hot and heavy because they were so mad at each other.
Yeah.
Cannot relate.
Built up tension, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, it
not
could
really.
be.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I
feel
don't
like
really either.
That's a place you go when no other communication is working,
Yeah,
and the
it's
only
like, we
thing
might
you
as
can
well
do is
just
have
have
sex.
sex.
Like, because everyone is a lot softer right after right after you come, whatever. But it's like that is true. Like some people really just can't fucking communicate, and I feel like Sam may be one of the worst communicators we've ever seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like even with the breakup, I was like, wait, are they broken up or not? Because they never were like, oh, we're broken up. Like he would write these letters that were like,
Passive-aggressive.
when I think of you, like you're
Yeah.
gone. I'm like, okay, well, are they together or are they not?
Which you didn't even write, by the way.
Yeah.
He didn't
Can
even
we
write that
talk
letter.
about the Paris stint? I
Yes.
feel like that is
Okay, Belly Conklin.
Right, exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
I know.
another one off to Paris exploring herself.
I was happy that she went. Like,
was too.
They
it
got,
wasn't even a
it's
second
always
thought.
will they go?
You gotta
won't
go to
they?
Paris.
You
You
have
always
to
go to
Shout
Paris.
out Lauren Conrad who did
But
not.
did
go.
not
I
go,
just like
famously.
really did not see that as the trajectory for this character, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like from
agree.
everything that I got from who Jordan was, I didn't see her as like the girl that was just gonna like get up and move to Paris because some woman she works for like says she has a job for her there and like you
Yeah.
can go and write.
Yeah.
I was like, I was happy she did it, but I was like, oh, I feel like this is not the move that she would make, because I don't know, it almost felt like she was so enamored in her relationship that would have been a big thing.
Yeah, she
And
made
it's
the
just
whole
like-
thing about Yash, like the entire time
and then
she
it
was in
wasn't even really a
Paris.
discussion.
Right.
It was just like, I'm moving to Paris.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, Paris wouldn't have been the place I would have thought she'd go.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Of course, it's rich in art, but like literature, I would have think England.
Well, didn't
no?
she
like,
write?
wouldn't you?
Didn't
She did end up
say
going to
some-
Spain.
Yeah.
True,
Okay.
true.
But
She
she
did go
also
there.
said something like she read about Paris in like books and stuff, and she like always wanted to
Yeah,
go there. or
yeah.
I guess
something.
Hemingway
can't
went
remember.
there. Hemingway is in Paris. Maybe I'm not giving Paris enough
thought
literary credit.
Yeah.
I thought Paris was like a literary spot.
I guess
It,
it is.
it definitely it
I
has
guess I'm
it,
just
yeah.
based on like the douchey name dropping they were all doing. I would have put her
Yes.
in London versus
Right, right,
Paris.
right.
Paris
No.
was like very whimsical, which I guess for her works. But
Yeah.
can I bring up that I think Yash was kind of a wet blanket in Paris? I feel like he was
For
holding
sure.
her back.
Yeah.
Was that a vibe anybody else
It,
got?
it felt like a personality change for him from when
Yeah.
from his younger self a little bit. Or well, I mean,
100%.
not that much
I
younger.
feel
but
like he went through the classic post-college boy, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be all my professors told me I'm so great and I
Yeah.
have such a, like, I should be a writer and I'm not. And yes, he had this pressure from his family. It's obviously like that's not the path that his dad wanted him to take and all these things. But no, they were really young and it was such a lack of communication. And anytime a couple breaks up due to a lack of communication, like in a book, it breaks my heart because you're
I
like, oh,
know.
it's frustrating to read it happen.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my gosh, there is probably an explanation, or Yash probably has something that he could share about why he, wasn't in New York or goes to Atlanta. And then you kind of, it felt like there was a lot of missing pieces with Sam.
For sure.
Where when she's talking to him in the hospital and he's sort of like filling her in on his life and how he had this basically crisis and meltdown and all those things. It's like, oh, well, is that when Yash went to Atlanta to help you? Or like, were you going through that at that time?
Right.
Like
In
what
that
was
moment.
in that
I see what
moment?
you're
Like,
saying.
was it Sam really needed Yash as a friend in that time? And then because he blew off, he blew
her
off
off.
Jordan, then it was just like over, and she just never wanted to talk to him again.
But here is
and
the
that was
thing.
it, which was so sad.
At that point, though, why would you not say, "Hey, Sam's having a mental fucking breakdown, and I have to be here. I'm sorry that I'm not there. I'll meet you in
Yeah.
New York soon. I'll come in a couple
No,
weeks."
no,
Like,
for sure.
maybe she
know.
just
There
cut
was
him
It
off.
just
I
sounded
feel
like
like
they were
there's-
going months without talking.
Yeah,
also,
it's
which
True,
was crazy.
True, which is nuts. But
I
also,
felt like there was
wonder,
an easy way to solve the issue.
There's
Yeah,
gotta be a way.
exactly.
The question I kept going back to was like, first I was like, what kind of relationship do Yash and Sam have? I was ready for a big reveal that they were like lovers.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
right,
really because it was like enough with your friend. Like I get you want to, but it's like what's his deal? Like
No,
is he
seriously.
a kid with no family? Does he have nobody else?
Yeah.
Is he that like
I
off-putting
think
that he
that
has no other
losing
friends?
that other,
Like,
I think losing Ivan was like
Losing their
probably,
friend.
I feel like
Yeah.
not as
I'm sure.
discussed in depth as it could have
Yeah.
been.
so then I guess another question: the other book, Writers and Lovers.
Writers and Lovers, yeah.
Do we get any extra Yash, Sam background in that? I wonder. We're gonna ask.
That's a great
the crew.
question. I don't know, but none
all
of
about
us
her,
have read this
obviously.
book.
I also
Yeah.
saw that there's not a lot of lineup with the story that ends up happening at
Yes,
the
correct.
end here
Oh,
in Writers and
interesting.
Lovers.
Interesting.
That like she was never pregnant.
Yeah.
At one point in Writers and Lovers, she dreams of having kids.
Oh.
And it's like, but she has kids.
The story of Writers and Lovers is about aspiring writer Casey Peabody, who in the summer of 1997 navigates grief after her mother's death, financial struggles, and a love triangle while working on her first novel in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She's torn between two men, Silas and Oscar. So it's like, it's a whole different
Oh,
story.
she's
It's like
in
it's
another
her
love
finding.
triangle.
She is always finding
Yeah.
herself in
You
a
know what I'm saying? It's like her finding
one, girl.
Silas and ending up with Silas.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
We hear nothing else about
Yeah,
Yash.
I don't think, like, Yash is an unknown character in
Wow.
this.
So do we
Wow,
think
okay.
Lily King is going to pop out with a Yash background? I'm curious.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right?
could see that.
Lily
Yeah.
gets a step
Just
in, huh?
build out
Because
the
it
whole
just says that
universe.
she's dealing with the recent breakup, when the recent death of her mother and a recent breakup.
Must be both. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, then to jump forward at the end, you know, when we do see that Yash is sick and she's traveling to go see him, and Silas is very supportive of that.
Yeah.
Although Jack is waiting to hear about the surgery. I go back and forth about in that situation, she obviously wants to say her goodbyes to Yash because she knows what's about to come. On the other end of that, she really doesn't know what's going to happen with her son. Her
Yeah.
son has seizures. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
They're waiting on this surgery, and she's missing the flight to go home and go with them.
Priorities are a little scrambled.
Right. So
I agree.
I'm reading this going, this must be just like a very real feeling though. Like she has these unresolved feelings in her
Yeah.
own life, but then she has a son that she has to look forward to, look after. And I think that's why I think the ending when Casey is revealed, it's so much more like you are now in the present.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and you have to focus on this family
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you gotta focus
your
on your own
son.
family.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
Did you guys think that she should have told Yash about the baby?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think towards the end.
Because I think that's a
probably
major
would've-
factor on why
I
she
probably
went.
would have
and
told
did
him
that. I think
way
she was like, I have
before
to tell about
then.
this.
Yeah, 1,000.
Like, probably right away.
I read this and I go, I would never be able to keep this in. I'm actually
way.
telling
Yeah.
him immediately. Like
Yeah.
I never.
And it's
re-
like
I
27
don't-
years.
Yeah,
it's
27
really-
Your daughter
it's
would have
really
been
funny.
If he
27
didn't show up
years
to New
old.
York, I would have called him on the phone and be like, "What the fuck is fucking
I'm
wrong
pregnant,
with you?
by
I'm
the way,
pregnant."
bitch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
I'll pay the extra
Exactly.
quarters to call collect. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here
Right.
in 97?
I do not relate to the withholding of information
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I'm angry
No.
type of thing. It's like you're going to hear from me right now.
That's the first thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I'm mad at you,
Yeah.
forget it.
And
Like,
I think, and I would be interested in exploring an after of this is the feelings that she now has that their daughter is 27 years old now, and Yash has now passed. And he didn't get to live a life having a daughter.
Yeah.
And so I think I
tough,
would feel
yeah.
extremely guilty if I was her, being like, well, I never told him. Now he passed. And just like on his final breath, knows that he has a
Yeah, he
daughter.
knows what's up.
Yeah.
I think that guilt is probably alleviated by the fact that when she put this baby up for adoption, she checked like the contact parents thing, and the child has never reached out. So if Yash was alive or not, that child doesn't want to contact them at all. I think if she, Casey / Jordan, whatever, had a relationship with this daughter she put up for adoption and never told Yash, that would be egregious. I feel like that would be
Yeah.
too far, especially someone like Yash who like, yeah, he didn't show up when he said he was going to show up, but he did not know she was pregnant and she didn't even hear him out after the fact. So I think the punishment would not fit the crime there.
Yeah.
But the fact that this girl has never reached out, like it's almost like no harm, no foul. Because what else would he have done? Like stalked her, shown up?
Well, I
or,
think the
you know?
guilt probably doesn't hit until he passes, until he's sick and passes, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just like reflecting back on that. I would imagine you're just like, oh my God, like I can't believe I didn't tell him earlier. Like now he doesn't
True.
have that chance.
Yeah.
I guess, but he wouldn't have a chance anyway, though. You know what I mean? Like he wouldn't be able to go see her or meet her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for literary purposes, like for the story that she was telling, it is sort of a full circle thing because it feels like Yash does have these great relationships with his, friends' kids and maybe like nephews or cousins and these younger people that all really like him, and he seems to have like these great relationships. And I have a feel like I'd imagine that as he's getting to this point in his life and now is in the hospital, it's like the regret of well, I never had kids. Should I have had kids? And kind of getting that closure of like, because it seemed like he sort of accepted in a good way, wow, you know, I do have a child out there somewhere
Yeah.
who is a part of me. And I think that kind of like was
Like a piece of me lives
like,
on.
Yeah,
maybe
like I
in
think
that
it was
way.
a little
Yeah.
closure for him in a way, almost.
Sure. That could be, yeah.
I did let you know when he was like, you know, do you think I'll be able to look after her? And she was like, yeah, I think you will be. And like, I thought that was like sort of like closure as well
like
from
in
him.
like as an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was really
I was really
sad.
crying. I would say the last 10% of the book, I was crying in a way that I'm just glad that I live by myself. Like there are moments where I'm like, thank God I live by myself, because it was unsightly. Like the tears, the way that I was like, it was really emotional storytelling, and I was
Yeah.
proud of Lily King for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it was as well.
As someone who cries at literally everything ever, I actually did not cry at this.
I'm shocked.
I know.
I
I
didn't
know
really
it's
cry
shocking.
that much either.
I
Are you on a
didn't
plane
really.
though?
I read some of it on a plane, and then I read the rest at home.
Yeah.
And I think I was more in shock because I just
Yeah.
didn't expect the book to go there.
Yeah.
And so I think I felt, obviously, I was like, it was very emotional, and I was more in shock about the book rather than crying. And I felt shocked that I didn't cry because I usually cry at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys another question about the hospital scenario? And it kind of ties into what you're saying about like keeping your priorities in check. Do we think it's a little weird that Yash's entire family acted as if Jordan/Casey was like his wife? Like everyone just kind of acted like his wife. Like
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
everyone knew her. She only had met a couple people in the fam, but like everyone knew her. Everyone
Well,
knew her
he
story.
held the
everyone knew
torch for her
vibe.
clearly for
Yeah.
forever.
I guess.
Been
but
I think
20
he
it
just
had been-
knew,
it had been
like-
it's been a
27
long time, and she
years.
had the front seat next to him on his deathbed. It just
Yeah.
feels a little like, how much is he talking about her?
Right.
She's got a whole husband and kids at home, and it's like but she gets the chair over his mom. Like it
Yeah.
just that felt a little strange. Not to speak ill of the dead, but it felt weird by Yash to be like, oh my. And then when she got
Yeah.
there, you're here.
And when they
Finally,
were-
you're here.
When they
Thank
were
you for
calling
coming.
each other babe,
Yeah.
I was a little thrown off, but I
Yeah.
thought, you know
But it's
what?
like, whatever,
I
he's
thought,
dying.
I
What
said
are you
the
gonna
man
say?
is dying.
Yeah,
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 I was
yeah.
like,
You gotta just have to-
you
yeah.
have to let like,
Yeah.
I'm
Let it
not.
happen.
The man's dying. I'm not going to be like, don't
course.
call me babe.
And you don't know,
Yeah.
like he
Yes.
could be that every thought, every moment he's ever lived is going through his mind.
Right.
I'm sure
Absolutely.
it's
Maybe
like
I'm
he's
being
taking him
insensitive.
back to.
And also they've
That
had
I think
time.
it proposes a normal
I know.
question.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Normal.
everyone in the fam is just going along with this.
I
Okay.
think maybe his family knew, and he knew that they had so much left on the table that they needed to resolve, that they were like, all right, we're just gonna let them have their like moment, because they had so much to talk about, like why their relationship went the way that it did.
Yeah.
And I think like his family might have known like, oh shit, she's here, so like they need to have like their time.
Yeah.
Sure.
I really
Sure.
liked this question that there's because you can find kind of discussion boards on all
Yeah,
on
yeah.
all these things about the books, and this is from one of a reading guide that was provided by the publisher of the book. And one of the thoughts is goodbyes come up a lot throughout the novel. In part 3, Sam tells Jordan, say goodbye. Goodbyes are important. When do goodbyes happen in the book, and when do they not? Can a missed goodbye ever be made up? I thought that was so interesting because it was like,
Wow.
I liked that it was Sam saying that in that moment, because those three have been missing goodbyes the whole
Yeah.
the whole
Yep.
story. It's like Sam and Jordan break up, but do they ever even really break up? Because they just kind of stopped talking.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
nothing was really, they never really had any final goodbyes in any of these moments. And the final goodbye only comes in the fact that he's dying, which I
Yeah.
thought was like,
Yeah, that's
oh,
powerful.
It totally isn't. And for it to be Sam to be like, goodbyes are important, I was like, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
wow.
that was
And
impactful.
with Ivan
was,
too,
yeah.
maybe they didn't get
Yeah.
to say
So
goodbye.
Yeah,
that's
that's
so
true.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd also like it on record now that I've talked shit that if anybody from my past wants me to show up bedside for their death and act like I'm their wife, I am available for that. Like it's not. I'm not throwing stones. Like, I would love to walk into a room and everybody. Thank God you're here.
right,
He's
right.
only been asking for you.
Yeah.
I would
I
love
think
that.
you're overthinking the fact that you brought that up a bit, and I think it's a
am.
normal. I think it's a normal question to
No,
ask.
totally normal.
I
I
don't want to be
think-
insensitive for like dying people.
No.
I've not been in that.
No.
I've
I
not been in
think
that
just
scenario.
like
I
so
think
don't
it's
know.
total normal
Yeah.
because
Your situationship gets firsthand before your mom.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like that's a little crazy.
But on the other side of that, you don't know if Yash is like in the right state of mind. 'Cause
Yeah.
It seems like
Also
he's
true.
in and
Also
out
true.
of consciousness at times.
Yeah.
So he's just like, You know, in my final moments, I'm gonna act like this is my wife.
Yeah.
I will say, not to talk shit about Jordan Casey, but I would have called my husband probably. Maybe a little bit more often than I did. Like, she really kind of left him high and dry.
Yeah, and that's to talk about the priorities.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. In like a high stakes moment, she was kind of leaving him high and dry, and I felt bad about that for Silas. He was doing his best.
I think
He
at the end of
seemed
the
really
day, like it
loving,
always
though.
would have been at Yash. Like I feel like if her and Yash like
Over
could
the
have figured
son?
it us. Well, I feel like
No,
well,
no,
I see what
no.
you're saying.
Just
Sorry.
just
yeah.
if like they could have figured
was like,
I feel like she
Jesus,
just
Jesus.
has so
No,
much
no.
what ifs with Yash that like
Yeah.
the first time she sees him again, like she kind of just like forgets like her past
True.
life,
Well,
her future, her life that she lives
That's
in
her
now,
twin
and she
flame.
reverts back to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Jordan.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
fair.
the thing. I don't know if you guys saw Eternity, but did you?
No, I
Yes.
haven't, and I need to. Fuck.
Okay, so
Sorry.
I'm gonna.
It's you can spoil it.
Okay.
I'm okay.
I'm going to spoil something a little bit, though. It's
get the
sort of
gist.
like the story of Eternity, where her first husband dies,
Yeah.
and she ends up living 65 years with her second husband.
Yeah.
Gets to Eternity, has to make a decision. Second husband's like, go be with the first husband.
Aw.
Then she's with the first husband. She's like, actually, this isn't what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And
That's how
now,
it
and then
goes.
she goes and lives with her second
Oh,
husband.
she has the choice.
Yeah.
Afterwards, she escapes Eternity and she's able to go live with her second husband. So it could be sort of exploring that in this book where it's like, it's all the what ifs with Yash, right?
Yeah.
What if? But maybe Silas was the answer. You know, it could have always been Yash, but
Yeah.
she did have a life with Silas and still does.
Yeah.
think
And
it-
Silas seems like a loving husband.
Yeah,
I
seems
love
like a
I'm
great
very
guy.
Team Silas.
He's
I'm-
like, go see Yash. Like, go tell him. Like,
And he
he's
was very encouraging of her to
supportive.
tell him about the baby
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to how cool Silas is because of how cool he was with this whole thing. Like, I can't think of
Yeah, I was
many
like, he's
men
in his
who would,
house,
be fine with
eating
that.
their food and
Yeah, not only in the house,
chilling.
but then like, okay, we're in crunch time again. Our son is like having seizures every few minutes. We're waiting on literally the doctor to call us, and then we're off to Houston. But you can go fly in Boston, not answer my phone calls for 4 days, and just play wife to someone else. Like that is to be cool with that on the base. I think is a very cool thing.
Yeah.
Very
I agree.
secure. Very secure
Yes,
thing.
I agree.
I can't say that I would feel as secure. I'm a little too jealous. I think.
Definitely. I think we can do maybe like a couple rapid fire questions to sort of wrap
Would
up
love.
discussion and just
Yes.
like go around and share some final thoughts of the book and characters and whatnot.
Love.
Which character do you guys think you connected with the most?
the narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
Jordan/Casey.
I feel like it's really the only option. I would say
Yeah.
Right.
also not so bad, not so off the path with Yash. Like I feel like Yash is like, I
Yeah.
just got to be a good friend and I'm just trying to make my way. And ultimately I got everybody I know by my bedside, but like I never married and had kids. Like that
Yeah.
kind of sounds low key like me.
Yeah, you don't really have too many main characters to choose from when
Yeah.
it comes to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when
and
it
I
comes
don't
to the
think I
story.
relate to any of the guys
Yeah, no.
in the story.
No, I
Certainly
think
not
Sam's
Sam.
probably the one we would say the least.
the least.
Could not relate
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
to Sam. Yeah.
I don't have
But
Catholic
at
guilt.
the
Bad
end, you
attitude.
know,
Absolutely. I
At the end,
also
it did
don't have
seem
Catholic
like a
guilt,
good
and I went my
friend.
whole life.
Yeah. He did seem like a good friend at the end.
he really
you know?
turned it around.
You
Yeah.
know? So at least there's that. Any favorite scenes or moments that stuck out to you that you thought you want to recall?
I thought them playing the card game, having to like explain the rules and play the game, and it becoming like a thing that they all had together, I thought was fun. Learning card games is my own personal nightmare, so that it was hard to like read that section with the directions. But then once they were all into it and having fun, whatever, I loved the callback to it later when Jordan/Casey and Silas and their kids are like playing it and Yash is there and they don't believe that he knows it. And it's like, that is like a really sweet, I
Yeah.
feel like family,
I love that one
familiar
too. Yeah.
moment.
I think one of my favorite moments was when Yash and Jordan are communicating while they're cooking and they tap their knife 3 times or whatever it was to communicate
that.
Yeah.
that
Sam.
When
they're
Sam-
talking shit about
Yeah.
Sam.
That was great.
And they're like that
when
was
he like
a-
got back from church,
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh,
right.
no food for me."
Yeah, and they just were like communicating
shut the
with each
fuck up,
other.
Sam.
And
Yeah.
that's when you see like, okay,
Something's
these two
going
are,
on.
Definitely,
Yeah. I
definitely.
like the
Great moment.
part
Love it.
when Yash comes to stay with her on the couch and then they kiss for the first time. I
Yeah.
thought that was really cute when
Yeah.
he was
Oh,
like,
right.
she like asked him a question or something and he like responded by like kissing her and I just thought it was very
Was
sweet.
it at the restaurant that they kiss?
No, they like went to the restaurant. They're like, oh, this is like a date because
Yeah.
it was like all these old people,
Yeah.
whatever. And then they come home.
Did they go out?
Yeah, she
after
was like,
that?
"Is it?" Yeah,
oh,
they
went
did.
to
It
go
was like
get
when they come back to the
drinks.
house.
Yeah, they like went with
Oh, he
their
brushes
friends
his
at
teeth,
drinks,
and then she leaves her door open a little, and he comes in and he's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
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 Okay,
yeah. It was.
yeah.
I just thought that was very
Love
sweet
that.
and like cute, like moment of like friends to lovers when you're like, all right, who's gonna cross the line 1st?
Yeah, yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Ooh, the suspense.
I can feel it. I know.
The suspense is crazy.
The suspense is crazy. That
loved
is
it.
a
From
huge
the
part of
sec-
this
I'm telling
book.
you, from the second the book started, I knew that it was Yash. Like,
Yeah,
I
me
knew.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not Sam. I did really enjoy like whatever you want to call it, sequel years of like her relationship with her boys, and I don't know the conversation. I do go back to him like that conversation with Yash of her finally telling him about the baby. I do think like really gave him some sort of comfort
It did
in
seem
that
that way.
last moment, which I felt was fairly impactful. Any lessons you're taking away from this story?
Ooh.
Don't let words go unsaid.
That's
Wow.
I was honestly
Yeah, I
I
agree
feel like
with
that
that.
is kind of
Communication
good.
is key. Is it better to speak or to die?
Truly, it just goes to show you like yes, it may take you on a different path, and that path may still be a lovely path because it's like she got Silas and her kids, and that's good. But it's like you're gonna be thinking your whole life, what if I had told him about the baby?
Yeah.
You're always gonna think that.
Yeah, I often live my life like this where I'm always like anything could happen. And so I say everything that's on my mind, and I'm maybe annoying in the way that I could be like, I love you,
Yeah.
or I love this person, or just like talking like, a lot about things. But I always have the back of my head, and sometimes too much to a fault, that like anything could happen. So while reading this book and having that reminder, I was like, oh, great. I can't escape this thought because it is a thought I have all the time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can be turned into a positive thing where it is like words never let words go unsaid.
Yeah.
Do you guys think this could be adapted into a movie or a TV show?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
For
a
sure.
movie. A movie.
Yeah,
it's
I
for
think a
sure.
movie.
Yeah. Unless you want to add
movie,
more
I would have
depth.
gone I would go TV show, I thought.
Oh, really? Do like
Yeah.
the first season,
Yeah.
or
Like
like
6.
cut back and forth, kind of like
I
Tell
would
Me
cut back and
Lies.
forth, almost like Tell Me Lies. Like it's like a big jump. You go back to college years.
I just thought because it's so
but I don't think you
short.
would jump immediately to him being sick. I think there'd have to
Yeah.
be some earlier
Yes,
stuff.
there has to be more.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like the one thing it was kind of lacking was character depth. I feel like I needed more. I wanted to get to know the narrator more than just her relationships with the two guys. Like I feel
Yeah.
like you get
She seemed
some
like
with
she had
her
an
family.
interesting background.
Yeah.
Like she seemed like a little scrappy, rough and tumble.
Right.
But maybe you
upbringing.
get
Which may be more in the
this-
other
in the
Writers
other
and
book.
Lovers,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm curious
But
about that too.
that's a good call. I think probably one of my critiques in that too is it did feel like once you did get into that time jump, I know it wasn't really like that much actual unevenness and like the amount of content per each part, but part 2 felt a little more rushed.
Totally.
Agreed.
I agree.
Agreed. I would have liked
agreed.
more
I would have
time.
liked a little bit
It was a really short
more-
book. I think they could have expanded a little bit
Yeah.
more on
I
that
agree.
part.
Like I kind of would have liked crap, I'm forgetting the name of the movie, but it's that really great movie about the woman and she's married to the man in America, and her boyfriend when she was little in Korea comes to visit.
Past Lives.
Yeah,
Love.
one of my favorite movies. I would have liked like maybe a little Past Lives, like her and Yash get dinner
Yeah.
one day, because I know they
because
saw each other with the
they
tree and
allude
stuff.
to
but that-
like talking throughout the years.
Yeah,
and
like, I would have liked to see a little bit
communicating here or there,
more.
checking in each other here and there.
I would have liked the first, like to have a glimpse into the first time that they either saw each other or spoke or whatever after the
Yeah.
New York
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
I would like
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
what breaks the
Right.
ice.
Yes.
Because
Yep.
obviously they're on good enough terms where he comes to her
Yeah.
fucking house.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there has to be
Exactly.
something
That
in
is
between.
true.
Yeah.
By the way, pretty happy that she's the one that actually had the career as an author.
Yeah,
Yes,
me too.
yes.
I was
Me
like,
too.
now I'm glad that she is the
Yeah.
one who
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
many
Yep,
yep, yep.
successful books. It
Yeah.
appears, which was lovely. But no, that's definitely a good point. There's some stuff that could have been filled in there.
Do we know what Lily King's background is? Is this semi-autobiographical?
No,
Would
it's
love to-
it's
would love
not.
that.
I would more info on her. Yeah, she is. I'll tell you in 1 second.
Yeah.
She is an American novelist. She is somewhere between the ages of 62 and 63.
Okay, Slay.
Cool.
And that's
She's
kind of about it.
She went to UNC Chapel Hill.
No way. Of course she did. Like,
Yeah.
of course. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Based on how they were describing
And she's been
everything, it
writing
makes so much
since,
sense.
since the late 90s.
If you look up, if you know how it says like
So
people
maybe.
also ask what happened to Lily King. Oh wait, no, sorry, this is not the right
No,
Lily
that's-
King.
that's a
Too many
character, I
Lily
think.
Kings.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway.
And she grew up in Massachusetts. She went to
whoa.
Chapel Hill and she got her master's in creative writing from Syracuse. So yeah, I bet you that as far as like being an
Syracuse.
author,
Right.
writing,
Being a writer,
writing,
being
and all
a
those
creative
things.
writing.
And sometimes I really think I know this is going to sound silly, but like when there's so much literature talk in a book, I'm
Yeah.
like, this author is an author.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
for sure.
We need to
You
have
know?
the right, like I would say about half of her references I
Right.
understood, which made
Yeah,
me be like, okay, she
exactly.
knows
Yeah.
what she's talking
Exactly.
about.
It's not like when you read it about the author and it's like she's like been an astrophysicist for all these years and now she's writing. So like,
Yeah.
there's that one girl who's, I like her a lot. Her books, and I'm spacing on her name right now.
Yeah.
she's like I was a scientist and so I started writing romance novels and you're like okay, well it checks out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Her writing reminds me a lot of Sally Rooney.
Very,
and I love
very
the Sally
similar.
Rooney. Me
too,
Similar. I
me
will
too.
say that is. I was gonna say on this sheet when it said suggested further reading, similar to this, Normal People is what they did list. On
I
this
would
book.
say,
very.
yeah.
It's except I will say shout out to Lily King for adding quotations when they talk because Sally Rooney doesn't do that.
That was hard for
Which
me.
man,
Yeah.
Reading
is
Sally Rooney for the
just-
first time was hard. Like I
truly
needed
can be
the
brutal.
show to help me guide
Yeah.
me
Yeah, I
a
was
little
confused.
bit. Yeah.
Okay, you want to give a grade? Shall
Yeah.
we go around? I
Yes.
think we stick with like
5
the
stars?
Goodreads,
Yeah.
Fable type
Yeah,
vibe,
okay.
5 stars.
5 stars,
You can
okay.
go decibel, whatever you
Got
want
it,
to
got it.
throw out
Okay.
there. How
I would go 3.5.
3.5.
Okay. I'm going. I'm worried to start off too hot,
Yeah.
but I think I'll go 4-1.
Okay.
Nice.
I was gonna go 3.5, so I need to decide of whether I want to go up or down. I could do the same grade.
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
you.
you
That's
absolutely can.
great.
That's okay.
I'm gonna do 3.5.
Yeah.
because I liked it.
Yeah.
but I was not in love with this
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think I did really enjoy the story. And the style was not my personal favorite, but I did enjoy it. Anytime, like, I also really judge off of when I'm reaching to pick the book back up again.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
I did-
felt
read the whole book in one day.
Exactly. Like I felt like I was
Yeah.
like pretty engulfed in it as soon as I started. Was like, shit, I really want to keep reading it, which
Yeah.
always factors
Yeah.
into how I feel about it. So I'll go 3.75.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's a
Feel
good
like
I
that's
wonder
where I fall.
if the pace, I mean, I think we kind of talked about it, but the pacing of reading it is because of the way she talked. Like, I actually found myself really liking that stream of consciousness more than I
Yeah.
thought I would. Once I like got it,
Once you
I
get used
really
to it,
liked
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really a quick read, which sometimes I
it
think
was,
brings
totally.
it down a little bit in my mind in
Agreed,
the sense that I'm like, oh, it's already over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had more to the story a
Yeah,
little bit.
and I do
so-
like the themes of the story that they
Yeah.
explored here, and it gets you thinking, and it's emotional, and I enjoyed all of those aspects
Yeah.
for it. But I think it wasn't like I did want to continue reading it,
Yeah.
but I was able to like put it down and take breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna change your life.
Yeah, and
You weren't taking the book into the ocean.
no, and that's
Yeah.
Sometimes
That's where it's like- it's like,
sometimes
are
when
you-
I
yeah.
read, I
That's the barometer.
truly cannot put
Are
the
you
book
taking
down.
the book into the ocean?
But I also think with this kind of book, you kind of do need to take sometimes with the emotion,
Yeah.
you know, with how
Sure.
emotional it could be towards the end, at least.
Towards the end, yeah.
You take
The
a look.
end did a lot of heavy lifting for me in my score, I think. Like, if
Yeah,
you were to,
absolutely.
before that
Yes, I
last,
agree.
like, 20%, no, 10%, did I say before, is when I was really crying. Before that, I probably would have gone a little bit lower,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
really made up for it.
I
for
think
me.
we probably could
agree.
have had less Sam in the beginning, but I think without the story of Sam, you don't get Yash.
Agreed.
Yeah, you need.
But there was a lot of chunk of Sam where you're like, he really doesn't matter in the second half
Yeah,
of the book whatsoever.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, until like the very end. And
Yeah.
he did have the goodbyes are important, which is an important line in it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Quickly, do we want to just share with our listeners if we have anything else on our bookshelf right now? What's on the nightstand? Anything else you guys are reading?
Yes.
This is really all I've been reading right now. So I know I've read this book and I haven't dove into anything else.
Go.
You go.
Okay.
No,
You go. I'm like 10 chapters, maybe 15 chapters into Goblet of Fire.
Love.
Obsessed with it. It's been completely different from the movie, which has been
extremely-
super interesting.
Well, they missed that whole part.
Yeah.
When they started.
Like, with Winky and Hermione being so obsessed with the freedom of the house elves and the entire Quidditch World Cup to begin with. And even in the beginning, how, the Weasleys come to Harry's house and all those things. So I've been really enjoying it.
Are you loving SPEW? Is that like your favorite shit?
Yeah, it's
I
very
know. I said
funny.
to Jess, like, Gia will love Spew.
Yeah.
But I for some reason, it's like, I think because the book is so big, I'm reading it so slowly. Like, I don't know why, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'm really happy that I've decided to start Harry Potter, the series. But yeah, I can feel like the switch now between the differences between the movie and the book, in terms of like what they show in the movies and what they show in the books and how much more depth these characters have and things of that nature.
Totally.
Really been loving Harry, Ron, and Hermione like 10 times more in the book than I
They're
do in
so
the movies.
funny.
They're
They're
so
so much
funny.
funnier.
They're sassy. They love each other. Like Hermione's hilarious. Even Hermione and Ron, I can see like their little like enemies to lovers, friends
They're
to
flirting.
lovers thing before you even get a idea of that in the movies. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it does kind of come out of nowhere in the movies a little bit. Like
In
all
the
of a
movies,
sudden
I was
you're
like,
like,
wait, what? They
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
the basilisk and they just start making out. I'm like, okay, what? Like that doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
there's a
no,
lot.
there's a
Lead
lot.
up.
There's a lot more.
But I've been
for sure.
thoroughly enjoying.
Good.
I love that, and I would love an even more in-depth conversation about it later. I'm only literally still at the exact same point I was in Wuthering Heights as I was last time we discussed, but I will finish it within the week because we've got the movie coming up, and I really want to make the compare. I know that they're not going to be anything alike, but I would love to know the references. So I really want to finish that book before with Emerald Fennell's Wuthering
Right,
Heights.
that's so
Yeah,
fair because
yeah.
it does seem like it's like I know it's been such a debate on whether or not this
lot
movie
of
is going to
creative
have a lot
liberties.
It
of
won't be.
yeah.
She had said, she was like,
Yeah.
this is my interpretation. This is our fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be like the book is essentially
Right.
what she said. I would just love to be able to understand. I love being in on the joke.
Yeah,
Like, in
for
on
sure.
the
That is
whatever.
true.
So
Right,
that's
right,
what's
right.
important
Yeah.
to me.
I think next up for me is I've been debating because there is a discourse online on like what order you should be reading Throne of Glass because there is that one Assassin's
Yes.
Blade just kind of gets
You know that I
thrown
didn't
in
read
there.
Assassin's Blade,
And you really
and I didn't hit with the end.
So
yeah, I'm telling you got to read
you know what? Well,
Assassin's
here's the
Blade,
thing.
yeah.
Well, I looked and I saw that Sarah, the author, has said that ideally, like after Crown of Midnight is when you would read Assassin's Blade. So I think I'm going to read Assassin's
Yes,
Blade
you
next.
need to
Definitely
read
do
it
it.
before Queen of
three.
Shadows.
Definitely do it
But I
because I
think
regretted not.
What's Queen of Shadows?
That might be 4, yeah.
So I think it was definitely before 4. Like it was like 100% before 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I saw people be like, it's kind of better to read it before, even before 3.
Kingdom of Ash, I feel like, is the big payoff. Everybody shows up.
Yes,
And
that's
that
the last
to
book.
me
Oh,
was
that's the
like,
last one.
You got to
Yes.
get it before that.
And you need to know.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you need to.
Because I didn't, and I was a little confused.
It's
and I
a
was
lot
pissed at
of
myself.
backstory, and also, and like Sam. Oh my God, he's the best. So like you
yeah.
have to read it. Yeah,
I got you.
there's a lot of stuff with a character that is like a lot of foreshadowing and stuff that happens in Queen of Shadows, and it won't like emotionally impact as hard if
Yeah.
you don't
I
read
gotcha.
Assassin's
I
Blade.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, so I think Assassin's Blade
and
is
it's
up
a
next for
great.
me.
It's great.
It's a quick
Yeah.
read, too,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Isn't
really
it only like a
quick,
half
yeah.
book, technically?
Right.
Anyway.
I have to find out where I bought like the mega version in my Kindle where it's like I just bought the whole box set, but it's in your Kindle, so it's just like one really long thing. So it's just like the books all continue into each other. So it's like once you keep like right now it says I'm like 11% done because I've only read the
shit.
first 2.
Wow.
So I gotta like jump to where I think Assassin's Blade is technically like all the way at the end. So I have to like jump to that and then
That's
and then
interesting.
move
What's the one?
backwards.
I thought it was at the beginning. It's like what's the 0.5 book? There's like a one that's labeled as 0.5. I thought that was Assassin's Blade,
Is that
but I
in
might be
Court of
wrong.
Thorns and Roses where they
No.
have that mini book?
Oh
No.
no. Like it's like a novella almost.
Yeah. Here we go.
Telenovela.
It's like I think it might be. I mean, it literally doesn't matter. People can look this up, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like the Assassin's Blade stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be wrong.
So fine.
don't forget it.
I think to close, we are we're in the process of picking our February book.
Yes.
So stay tuned, and when that is fully decided, we will post on our social pages where you can follow us at
Yes.
Same Page Book Club. You can see that on all of our socials. And follow along there so that you can keep up with what book we're choosing for February. And we'll be back in 2 weeks, kind of start the first half discussion of of that one to really
Yay,
go
I'm
in
excited.
depth. So
Yay, me too.
Yay.
thank you, ladies, and thank you everyone for tuning in to our first episode of the Same Page Book Club. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yes.
We hope you will join us for months to come and enter our beautiful little book club. And get on the same page with us.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that.